Hello viewers, how are you? Hope you are fine. Welcome back to my channel Drawing Time with Story. If you are new in my channel, I will introduce myself and my channel with you. I am Suraya Parvin and in my channel I select an object or a theme to draw, and while drawing or my painting you will not get bored, because at the same time you can listen to a story or some different types of informations that you did not know about it. So it's a two times enjoyment. One is watching or painting or drawing and listening to the information or a great story behind the scene. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel to stay connected with me, to stay connected with Drawing Time with Story. And as you saw, my today's topic is the Great China Wall, and the information I took for the video is taken from the travel.com. So and the information was written by Marika, and it was published on December 28, 2019. So let's jump to the information time. 15 myths surrounding the Great Wall of China tourists need to know. The Great Wall of China is an impressive man-made structure located mainly in northern China, stretching 15 provinces or regions. Over 10 million people visit the structure every year to see just how extraordinary it really is. With the wall over 2000 years old, numerous myths and legends about the wall have been conceived since its construction. One of the biggest misinterpretations of the Great China Wall is that it can be seen from space. Unfortunately, NASA busted this myth after numerous missions to space by astronauts from countries all over the world stated they could not see the wall. The myth that the Great Wall is the only human artifact on Earth visible from the moon was also deemed untrue. There are numerous other myths about the Great Wall of China that still persist. Here we have listed 15 myths surrounding the Great Wall of China tourists need to know. Number 15. The Great Wall successfully kept out invaders. According to Travel China Guide, the Great Wall of China was built as a military defensive line to resist invasions from nomadic tribes. But many of the country's enemies managed passage across the barrier, like the Manchurian invasion that brought down the Ming Dynasty. Number 14. The Great Wall was built in a year. And that is not true. The Great Wall was not built in a year. In fact, it took more than 2,500 years to finish construction and was the combined efforts of many states and dynasties in history, says Travel China Guide. The construction of the wall began in the 7th century with the Chu state and lasted until 1878 in the Qing dynasty. Number 13. The wall is one long continuous line. The Great Wall of China isn't one long continuous wall but a 20,000 kilometer collection of walls which begins in the east at Shanhaiguan in Hebei province and ends at Jiangguan in Gansu province in the west. And isn't just walls, there are fortresses and watchtowers too. Number 12. The Great Wall can be seen from space. There is a common myth that the Great Wall of China can be seen from space, and it has been proven untrue thanks to NASA satellite images. According to the Travel, you can't see the Great Wall with the unaided eye even from low Earth orbit, which means you can't see it from the moon either. Number 11. The wall was built for beating the Mongols. China didn't build the wall to keep out the Mongols. The earliest walls were built between 500 to 700 BC to defend against northern nomadic tribes. It wasn't until the 11th century AD that the Mongols gained power and began raiding China, and in the 13th century when Genghis Khan's army invaded, leading to 100 years of Mongol rule. Number 10. Work has been done to restore some parts of the wall. According to mental flows, there are a remaining 13,171 miles of the Great Wall, and it is continuing to disappear. Erosion, earthquakes, tourists, and even villagers taking bricks and stone from the wall to build their own structures are harming the wall. Number 9. The wall is just made of earth and stone. Building materials like earth and stone were used to build this magnificent structure, but there was also one more unlikely material used. According to mental flows, glutinous rice, more commonly known as sticky rice, was used into the mortar recipe, which explains the wall's strength. Number 8. The wall was built solely by soldiers. The Gate Wall was constructed and maintained by convicted criminals during the Qin dynasty, says mental flows. The construction by criminals was like an extreme version of today's community service. Work was very dangerous, and it was estimated that some 40,000 people lost their lives working on it. Number 7. All of the Great Wall is already discovered. According to mental flows, there have been sections of the wall that were not discovered until 2012. Archaeologists have located northernmost sections that have yet to be identified in the past decade that are currently in present-day Mongolia. Number 6. The wall was only used to stop invasions. According to Travel China Guide, there is so much more to the Great Wall than its impressive collection of walls. Travelers will find gates, moats, ramps for horses, storage rooms for food, supplies, and artillery and drainage systems to collect water. There are also numerous fortresses and towers. Number 5. A dragon determined the course of the wall. A legend states that a helpful dragon traced out the course of the Great Wall for the people who are building the wall, says factory driver. The builders followed the dragon and used his tracks to map out which way the wall would go. Of course, this is just a myth. Number 4. The Great Wall of China is free from any tragedies. The wall took over 2000 years to build between 770 BC and 10633 AD. Not only is it called the Great Wall, but it is also known as the longest cemetery on earth because so many people lost their lives while constructing it. A reported 1 million people were estimated to have perished while building the wall, confirms the factory driver. Number 3. It is not exactly how it looks in photos. People who have never visited the Great Wall of China see images of a grand wall that stretches for miles. While still extremely impressive, the wall is in dire shape. Mental flows states that natural weathering and human-imparted erosion may result in the disappearance of parts of the wall by 2040. Number 2. The first emperor of Qin was the one to build the Great Wall. Emperor King Shuang is known as the first man who ordered to build the Great Wall. However, he was the man who commanded to connect and extend the separate walls that were already built to create a military defensive line. The first person to build the walls was a Duke of Chu State from 770 to 221 BC. And the most weighted number 1. The Great Wall of China is a world wonder. Despite being one of the most impressive structures on earth, the Great Wall of China isn't on the list of world wonders, which includes sites like the Great Pyramids on Egypt and the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. However, in 2007, it was voted as one of the new seven wonders of the world alongside the Taj Mahal and Machu Picchu. And I will tell you a myth about building the China Wall regarding the 10 brothers. This myth holds that there were 10 brothers, each gifted differently. The eldest could hear voices from long distances, while the second one could see an object from as far as 500 kilometers away. The third son was as strong as a bull, and the fourth had a head as hard as steel. The fifth brother's body was still hard, and the sixth had very long legs. The seventh had a gigantic head, while the eighth had incredibly large feet. The ninth and the youngest brothers had a large mouth and enormous eyes, respectively. Now, one day, as the brothers were working on their farm, the eldest brother heard cries. Upon looking, the second brother observed the calls for help were coming from hunger-stricken Great Wall builders. Angry about the situation, the third brother went to help the workers, but the officials chopped off his head. Annoyed, the fifth brother dashed to aid his brother, but the official decided to drown him in the sea. Fortunately for him, the sixth brother had long legs and was able to save him from drowning. In the process, the sixth brother caught about 330 kg of fish, which the seventh brother scooped with his big head. The ninth brother swallowed all the fish in one bite, causing the youngest brother to cry. Since he had big eyes, his tears resulted in the flooding and ruining some section of the Great Wall. It explains why sections of the Huangchuang Great Wall is partially underwater. Whether these myths are just myths, they are just stories, they are not real actually, but they are entertaining. So I hope you both enjoyed the drawing, the painting, and the interesting myths today. So if you are interested to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe my channel to encourage me to give me inspiration for more better results. And please don't forget to subscribe my channel to stay connected with me, to stay connected with Drawing Time with the Story. And if you have any kind of suggestions or any kind of interest for my channel, please feel free to write in the comment section, because I am very eagerly wait to read your comments. And most importantly, if you have any request, please let me know. Already I painted two requests that were requested from my two sisters from Philippines.